Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano confirms Senator Bato Dela Rosa has left the Senate. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. says he did not order the arrest of Senator Bato Dela Rosa. Luzon and Visayas power grids are under red and yellow alerts due to insufficient supply. China's Xi Jinping tells Donald Trump trade talks are progressing but warns tensions over Taiwan could lead to conflict. And CHED postpones the pilot testing of the reframed general education curriculum amid concern from universities and teachers. Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano confirms Senator Bato Dela Rosa has left the Senate. Cayetano says Senator Jinggoy Estrada called him early Thursday afternoon to confirm that Dela Rosa was no longer in the Senate. His exit comes hours after gunshots were fired inside the Senate building Wednesday night. But Cayetano claims he doesn't know where Dela Rosa is. Dela Rosa's lawyer Jimmy Bondoc is mum on the whereabouts of his client, noting lawyer-client privilege.
Kausap ko at nag-text sa akin yung kanyang wife. Tapos eto sabi niya sa akin, "It is for this reason I am sure that Ronald made his in quotation mark escape. He told me habang tumatagal kasi siya dyan sa loob ay mas nadadamay pa kayo. Alam naming hindi lulusubin ng NBI at CIDG and police o sino pang mga militar ang Senate kung wala siya sa loob."
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. says there were no standing orders from him or other officials in the executive to arrest Senator Bato Dela Rosa. Dela Rosa faces a warrant from the International Criminal Court over his alleged role in the war on drugs. Marcos releases his statement hours after gunshots were heard in the Philippine Senate. Meantime, Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano says the standoff began when the Office of the Sergeant-at-Arms fired a warning shot at NBI agents. The NBI agents were at the GSIS property adjacent to the Senate. In response, an NBI agent fired back before leaving the area. NBI Chief Melvin Matibag says the agents were on the GSIS side of the bridge connected to the Senate upon the request of the GSIS management. The National Grid Corporation of the Philippines announces red and yellow alerts over Luzon and Visayas grids due to insufficient power supply. As of May 14 to 2:30 p.m., the Luzon grid will be on yellow alert from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. and 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. Red alert will be raised between 3 p.m. until 10 p.m. the same day. Meantime, as of May 14, 2 p.m., the Visayas grid will be under yellow alert from 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Red alert will be raised from 3 p.m. until 10 p.m. the same day. The NGCP says 14 power plants in Luzon are running on derated capacities, while Visayas has 12 power plants running on derated capacities and 11 plants on forced outage since March. Energy Secretary Sharon Garin appeals to consumers to cut back on power consumption during peak hours. China's Xi Jinping tells US President Donald Trump trade talks are making progress at the start of a two-day summit. But Xi cautions disagreement over Taiwan could send relations down a dangerous path and even lead to conflict. The talks are set to cover the fragile trade truce, the Iran war, and US arms sales to Taiwan. With his approval ratings dented by his entanglement in the Middle East, Trump's anticipated trip to China has taken on added significance. Trump is also expected to ask for China's help to resolve the costly and unpopular conflict. But analysts say he is unlikely to get the support he wants. For Xi, U.S. arms sales to Taiwan, the democratically governed island claimed by China, will be a top priority. China reiterated on Wednesday its strong opposition to the sales, with the status of a $14 billion package awaiting Trump's approval still unclear. The U.S. is bound by law to provide Taiwan with the means to defend itself, despite a lack of formal diplomatic ties. The Commission on Higher Education will not conduct pilot testing of the proposed reframed general education curriculum. This comes after teachers, students, and advocacy groups filed a petition and position papers asking CHED not to proceed with the curriculum overhaul. The proposed curriculum seeks to reduce general education units from the current 36 to 18. CHED Chairperson Shirley Agrupis says the pilot implementation for the reframed GE curriculum will be moved to 2028 instead. Agrupis says this move will give them time to analyze and study the different manifestations. The decision is the result of the meeting between CHED, the Department of Education, the Second Congressional Commission on Education, and the Teacher Education Council. These bodies will also create an interagency technical working group to examine the position papers on the proposal. As of now, over 250 higher education institutions submitted their stances on the proposed overhaul. And that's today's wrap. I'm JC Gotinga. Thank you for watching. Click the link below for the full story. For more updates, download the wRap.